Maybe movies. Sausage. Sausage.
Are they still edible?
Sausage?
Ooh, sausage.
Go on.
Sausage?
Pea?
Yeah.
Yeah, bin them. They look unappetizing.
They are kind of gross.
Hello. And here you are again. And so are we. And welcome again to Maybe Movies with myself. I'm Max.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Shane. Again.
You sound so impressed.
I'm stuck here. What do you expect?
Well, you know how we felt about this time last year.
You think it's bad now? You wait for another 6 months, buddy.
I plan on getting out of here before then.
Take us with you.
Well, if you do, leave notes about how you did it, okay?
How am I going to leave notes to you if I get out? What if I suddenly just disappear?
That is a thing that has happened before.
Alright, well, it was a good idea in theory.
How is it out there? Are there still people alive?
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very unusual.
Yeah, well, yes, of course it's unusual. We're not there.
No, I think you'll have a bit of a culture shock if you were to...
Does that mean we're kind of like getting institutionalised?
Let's just say you're safer here.
Okay.
On that kind of bombshell, I suppose, we should really start talking about movies.
Indeed, we should. Yeah.
Just very quickly, though, one last thing before we do. Very quick shout out today, again, to one of our recent subscribers, to the How To Lady.
Oh, hi there.
Dee is a fitness guru.
Ah.
And does a lot of videos about keeping up with your cardio, and also lots of really simple stuff and stuff like exercise stuff that you can do at home and things.
Oh, they're useful ones, yes.
Yeah, she's left some really nice comments on some of the videos recently.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dee. Now let's get into Act 2, which is kind of going into Night 2. Well, we've covered that, haven't we? Into the next day for Salem...
Salem Nights.
That's the one. I can't say
Salem Nights.
I will get a still of that. Brilliant. How ever started? So we've got Bloofer Bonnie. Bloofer Bonnie has been going around feeding on children. So Ralphie Glick's been turned.
Yes.
And this will be the next day when they find Danny Glick's body in the hospital.
It's the first attack on Danny Glick. So it's when he's still at home.
Are we going to cheat them into that to the next night? Because how we've changed the running order of the scenes, it would be too late in the night for Ralphie to have turned and got to him.
Yes, I think this would be after the police have done their thing at the lake and everything like that. It would be the next night, yeah.
Okay.
Mark would be at home with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His parents are somehow... They've just heard the news about...
Ralphie Glick disappearing.
Yeah, so Mark is in his room playing around with his figurines. Maybe Bonnie tries to attack him first.
Okay, that's going to bring him into the story a lot earlier than it is.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it's after Danny dies and he goes after Mark, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's just, do we want to bring him into the story that early?
No.
I mean, we could do it a different way. If you wanted to tease that, you could have a... So we can get like the bat's eye view or whatever going towards the house, kind of flitting outside the window.
Yeah.
And as she's about to try and get into the room, one of his parents comes in, and so she goes off somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting all of those weird flying POV shots, like they do in Fright Night. Instead of seeing them coming at the window, it's seeing from their point of view outside the house. Sort of thing.
So you see that. So she tries to attack Mark.
Yeah.
One of the parents comes into the room, sees that it's not going to happen, and then flies off, and that's when she finds
Ralphie. Yeah. And they've just left, and probably hears them, and then just follows them down and grabs him.
Yeah.
And that will then, for the next kind of bit, kind of run through as normal up until Danny Glick will then turn up and gets taken to hospital and all that kind of thing. What are we doing with Jerry then at the moment, and with Billy? I mean, so again, things are starting to develop.
I would say Billy would still be at the house. I would say he's building something in the basement. What we don't know as yet, but he's definitely building something. Maybe like a holding cell or something. for the newbie vampires.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
So basically, Jerry could be keeping them in there.
What about this? As far as they know, the only person that they've turned is Bonnie.
Yeah.
They don't know about Ralphie or anything else yet.
No.
Yeah.
So it could be, again, it's another chance to have a scene in the hardware store or whatever, or Pimpers and Billy. Because, again, new person in town.
Well,
that's how he finds out that there's another...
I was going to bring that up, because obviously in the normal story, there's the search party and they find that little strip of cloth.
Yeah.
And Ben goes, oh, that guy wears these suits all the time. And that's when the cop then goes to the store, talks to Straker.
This guy wears all these checkered shirts all the time, because he does wear checkered shirts, doesn't
Oh,
he?
okay, right, yeah, just change the style of the cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, we could do that then. And it would make the obvious connection, you know.
Yeah.
So then we'd have Perkins going to the shop and confronting Billy, which would then lead to his discovery that more is going on in town.
Yeah. Yeah, because then he's going to be like, oh shit, like, you know, he's going to have to tell Jerry, and then...
Yeah, this is going a little bit sideways.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting, because again, we don't know how Jerry's going to react.
See, that's something we can think about later.
Okay, so we've got that. The normal story runs through for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Which is mostly the love affair stuff between Susan and...
Oh, right, yes, of course, yeah. Yeah, no, this is when he's getting to know her better and he's talking to her dad a lot more, and it's when he starts to go, do you believe in evil? Do you believe a place can be evil?
Most of those are with his old mentor.
Yeah, cheers.
With the teacher.
When Ben is starting to get genuinely suspicious and like he's looking to other people for confirmation, isn't he?
I think then the next thing we need to look at is what happens the next night. The third night is going to be Danny Glick getting a visit in the hospital.
Yeah.
That's about it for that night, isn't it? Are we saying then at this point that Jerry is now aware that there may be another vampire?
And he's about to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to nip it in the bud.
But of course he's already too late because so many people have already been bitten.
Yeah, but he's unaware of how many, the number.
It's really interesting because suddenly Jerry's kind of moved from being our antagonist to almost being an anti-hero. He's trying to clean up his own mess.
Yeah, he is, yeah. It's why I was thinking that we should have a scene with Billy Cole and Jerry when Billy tells him what's happening, and there's like that, I told you to look after her.
Mm-hmm.
All you had to do was not let her outside of the house.
Yes.
All you had to do.
Or Billy could then turn around and say, I didn't.
Yeah, yes. Oh.
Yeah, that's nice.
So he was unaware of the fact that she was getting out. How was she getting out? Which is why he's doing the reinforcements in the basement to stop her.
To stop her from getting away, yeah.
Of course, right. I like it. All times back. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's tidy.
See, I didn't think of it.
You do. You were thinking about this an awful lot.
That's really cool. Because what we can do then with this is we can have him catch up to Ralphie Glick and destroy him. But it's too late. He's already killed his brother.
Because Danny's already dead, and that carries on the chain of infection.
Yeah, that's fine because realistically, in any real sense, we don't really see Ralphie Glick again in the rest of the story.
So just because, obviously we don't get to see this in the original movie, and I'm curious, how do you think Jerry would go about destroying one of his fledglings?
I think he would probably tear its head off.
Yes. That's where my brain was going to. Just straight up decapitation.
Yeah, I think he would use his bare hands to do it. I'm thinking what he might do, he might take back his power that has been spread.
Yes, the idea is that he's spreading out his essence as he creates fledglings.
Yeah, so basically the fledglings that Bonnie has been making, it's weakened the power, but he's taking it all back.
Taking it back.
I hate to be an Indian giver, but I need back what was given to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, we can have it for that, definitely. I like it as a line, it works.
What, who's getting one? I'll put you up to 3!
I've got 4 still.
Yeah, you still haven't got 6 though.
No, but I've had 6 plates.
It's going to take a while.
Old hat.
And I don't think I can do it before this movie ends. Alright, okay, so then we move on a day or two later. We get the Glick funeral.
Yes.
And Mike Ryerson gets attacked. Because, of course, Jerry has stopped stalking because he thinks he's dealt with the problem.
Yeah. I did think, because I was saying about doing brides, so obviously Susan is going to be the third bride. It's almost like each act becomes him taking a bride.
So who's going to be the second bride?
Oh,
This is why I couldn't decide. See, I don't think it should be Mrs. Glick because that's a side thing that should happen.
Also, she's an older lady. She's not.
See,
She's not a beauty.
No, but my thought was possibly Eva, who runs the boarding house, because they do say she was a hell of a looker back in the day.
Yeah,
but also,
yeah,
you've got to think
yeah.
about the fact her and Mrs. Glick are around about the same age.
Yeah, but I mean, you compare those two women, and one is significantly more.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. The promise of eternally of getting those looks back.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
She's the only other option, really. That in the original story, anybody's mentioned about her femininity, shall we say. It's the only other one that we get the suggestion that even if it's from observers, there is a degree of vanity about her.
Do you remember in the movie when she's talking about how she had dreams and she and Weasel were young again?
Yeah. Kissing her on the neck and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it obviously plays into her.
I've just realised where the sample from Last Exit for the Lost by the Fields and the Nephilim comes from. Sweet Dreams.
From this?
That's from Salem's Lot.
Ah. Takes you decades to figure out where a sound sample comes from.
Yeah.
See, when I was making all my notes about that, about Mike Ryerson, I just keep calling him Orville, because I think of Jeffrey Lewis as Orville from Any Which Way But Loose.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I can't remember the character's name, but yes, I think I mean, it sounds like she's going to be the second bride, doesn't it?
Yeah, she's got to be.
Sorry, Juliet Lewis's dad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lewis. Yeah.
We have strayed miles away from the plot, but that's fine.
Tangent!
Oh, just in general, with the movie, the whole movie is a tangent at the moment.
It is a bit, yeah.
That's interesting. We haven't done this before, so let's see where it goes.
It's working in our minds.
Exactly. I will also make this a very, very quick reminder. At this point, we are talking about theoretical movies. We are not advocating that you go out and rip the heads off children.
Yeah, seriously, be sensible, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Right, this takes us to about halfway through, so I think we need to press ahead a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we've got this 3-hour movie that we've got to somehow condense down into, well, not a 90-minute narrative, but condensed down a little.
How we're doing it is working fine. We're just not touching on the stuff that is not pertinent to the vampire story.
No.
Yeah.
Because that will play out, and then if it kind of intersects that, we need to change it. So the runtime shouldn't really be that much of an issue.
No.
What's going to happen next then? So this is the point where we've got Ralphie, or Danny Glick, as you said, gets Mike Ryerson.
Yeah.
Which is then going to lead into him going after his mum, and that is the red herring, if you like, in this story. Maybe Ben Mears, and that starts. He's thinking it's to do with Dandridge, but he's grabbed a hold of the wrong end of the string.
But also,
so he's following the thread that leads to destroying Mrs. Glick.
Aha. Wait, no, Mrs. Glick isn't dead yet.
We're up to the point where we're talking about Danny's now going after his mum,
right, okay.
leading up to her death. And from that point, if Ben's starting to follow along that line, he's not paying as much attention to Jerry.
Therefore, I think instead of having Ben and his mentor in the restaurant having a drink, and Mike stumbles in after he's been attacked, Mike goes after the mentor on his own.
Oh.
And tries to attack him because Ben is off.
Doing other stuff, being distracted.
So basically,
it's because Susan's out of town by this point, isn't she?
Susan's out of town, so the old mentor basically takes Mike back to his house to give him a room for the night.
That's right, yeah, that's what happens in the story.
He dies during the night. He finds him dead.
Yeah.
That following night, obviously, he hasn't. He wants to tell Ben, but because Ben's not around, he's had to deal with it on his own. So therefore, Mike attacks the mentor.
So we're saying that all of that sequence plays through as it normally does, with the exception that Ben isn't aware of it.
Yeah, but he attacks the mentor.
What, Mr. Burke?
Yeah. And...
Okay, because he mistakenly thinks he's been infected or something.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Sorry, so Jerry attacks Mr. Burke?
No, Mark Petrie. Mark Petrie, the boy.
Oh, sorry, I'm with you.
So he's mistakenly thinking that Mr. Burke is the source of the infection.
Yeah.
Because he's had to do with all of the kids, because he taught them all at school. And
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that ties up very nicely.
I can see that.
But then Mike attacks Mr. Burke and actually bites him. Which causes Mr. Burke to leave everybody under the impression he's had a heart attack.
But he hasn't. He's been bitten.
He's been bitten.
Of course it is. Because it's in the middle of the night. He was taken to a hospital. He's not been in sunlight all day.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I do kind of like it.
And that's when Susan comes back into town.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's when she finds out about Mr. Burke. and finds out about Danny.
I have a problem with this idea that we lose the scene with Jason calling in the middle of the night, because it all adds fuel to his suspicion, and it confirms those. Without him being there and present to see those things, he's not going to be as far through in his investigation as he needs to be at this point in the film.
Maybe Burke tries to contact Ben, but the landlady of the boarding house picks up, then relays the message to him.
Well, that's what happens in the movie.
Doesn't relay the message to him because Jerry's already been working on her as his second bride.
Yes.
Yes, that works. That works. We can make this fit. Okay, all right. Okay, so pivotal scene's not going to happen because he's being interfered with. Mm-hmm. The next scene, really, that I want to look at is what would have been Barlow and the priest. So the priest comes to counsel Mark.
Sorry, I just had my tea.
Oh, you know what? I just suddenly realised there's kind of a plot hole. There's no real explanation of why Barlow goes after the priest at that particular time.
He probably wasn't. He was probably coming after Mark because he's rebuffed one of his servants.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yes, of course. That makes perfect sense. Yes. How dare you mistreat my minions?
This is the problem here because we've got no reason for Dandridge to go after him.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
So maybe it isn't Dandridge that turns up there. Maybe it's Bonnie that turns up there.
But where's Dandridge in all of this?
Because Bonnie is the sire of Danny.
Yeah.
Well, the son of Ralphie, who's the sire of Danny.
Sire of Danny. So it would be like, you took my minion.
Yeah.
If that works.
The master demands retribution.
But something you just said there was very true. We've kind of neglected our antagonist here.
Yeah.
He's done a thing and then...
He's kind of invisible at the moment, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can basically say he's killed Ralphie.
Yeah.
And he's in search of Danny.
Which means that maybe... No. I was thinking, is there a way that we can have him almost end up kind of almost being an ally of Ben's up to a point? Ben's investigating this. If he's investigating it, then I can, because he needs to follow the trail back through himself.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't see a scene where a vampire is going to align himself with someone who wants to destroy vampires.
No, I don't. No.
It just doesn't really work.
It was a half-baked idea. I wasn't totally sold on it myself.
I can imagine him giving a warning to Ben, like, leave it alone. I will deal with it.
What we need to do, I think, then very quickly is we need to establish at what point do Dandridge and Ben meet.
This would be the point where, in essence, in the original Fright Night, where Dandridge goes after Charlie, Dandridge goes after Ben, and then basically he gets interrupted by Susan, where he's in his room at the boarding house because obviously the landlady there has let Dandridge in. So he goes into the room, gives the whole spiel to Ben.
Yeah, that works. So yeah, the phone call comes in. That's really good. The phone call comes in from Jason. She answers it.
Yeah.
Puts the phone down, unlocks the door. And
Dandridge comes in. Ben's upstairs, unaware of what's happening.
That does turn
And that's when
up.
Dandridge walks in and basically threatens Ben and says, leave him alone.
So it'd be that. So it's that whole "I don't want to kill you"
I don't
kind of speech that like he does with
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah,
I don't want to kill
I'm sorry.
you, but stay the fuck away.
You're right.
Yeah.
Have a gold star.
Thank you.
You're right.
You can have half a gold star because you denied me one when I clearly
No,
decided.
it doesn't work like that.
I was going to say I don't think they come in halves.
Well, I'm the keeper of the stars, then bloody well. No. Okay, so that ties that up quite nicely. Yes, we have a moment where our hero and villain are in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it.
But it's then when Susan comes in.
And that's when he sees her for the first time.
Oh, yeah, so it all ties back.
Yeah.
And then we get the picture and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we get the news that Mrs. Glick has been taken ill,
She's been taken ill.
Of course.
And taken elsewhere. And that will then lead us into the rest of the act, which
is Ben taking Dr. Norton to the funeral home to prove that the dead rise.
Again, like it does in the film, this has to happen during the day because if it happens at a time when Dandridge can hear it, he will know then that's another one that he has to go and destroy.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a race between the two of them, but we don't want that. We want at least that part of the storyline to still play out as normal.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is there anything else we want to say about this act before we wrap?
Nothing I can think of.
I think we've got it fairly covered.
Okay.
Feels like we're there.
Brilliant. As always, please do come back and join us in... Professor Nobi? No, that's...
Hello,
Is that Chris?
hello. Max.
Hello?
Hello, guys.
Yes? If you can understand us, say yes.
I'm feeling a bit nauseous. If you can hear this, I think you should do Evil Dead 2 and Cabin in the Woods. Those are good options. Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Okay then. I think that's settled. As long as the delirium decides to align with the real world again in a couple of days, we will see you then. As always, take care and bye for now.
As always, guys. TTFN.
Laters.
Ba 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 ba.